Good evening. I am Pam Peschke, Vice Chair of the School Committee. I call the meeting to order at 6:05 p.m. The meeting of the Southwick Town Granville Regional School District Committee is now being audio. Can I have everybody stand for? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, up first, we have our consent agenda, and the only thing on that agenda are the minutes of last week's meeting. Everybody should have a copy in the packet. Does anybody have any questions?
You didn't ask for one.
I don't think we had, do we need a motion?
No, that's later.
Okay. No, we just need a motion for like.
That
approve
comes
things,
later
right?
when you approve stuff.
Okay,
It has to be in there.
Right.
so
Okay,
later.
so we're good on that.
here's to the town thing, we think motion. to approve.
Motion for everything.
It's the first
Oh, come on, I gotta keep a good speed here.
Alright.
Well, no excessive motions. All right, warrants are circulating. Has the warrant bucket made its way around, or is that still going?
It's made its way.
It's way away to everybody that needs this. All right, correspondence, Superintendent Willard, do we have any correspondence for this evening?
Yes, I just want to share that the PRS that was filed last year, last February, regarding the incident at the regional school, we received a letter of finding. The first question was, has the district developed the required procedures regarding bullying and retaliation? We had, except that there's two things that we failed to comply with, and one was we used the word viable before the word report, so we have to remove the word viable before the word reports. And we had, in one section, it said that the report would be done in 14 days, and in one, it said that it would be done in 15 days. So we just had to make sure that we were consistent. So those were the two things that we need to change in our bullying documentation. The second thing they looked at, and which was the main crux of the complaint, was the report of bullying received and responded to promptly? Did the district investigate the allegations and bullying of retaliation and bullying and retaliation? And the state's finding, there's multiple pages, but based on the department's analysis outlined above, the department finds the district's response to the incidents outlined above comply with Mass General Law, Chapter 70, Section 370, and 603 CMR 2607. So we did respond promptly, and we did investigate the allegations of bullying and retaliation. The other thing it looked at was, did we investigate under Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964? And based on the totality, because there were those two circumstances, the two instances prior to the major incident that happened that we weren't aware of, we should have done a civil rights letter for the first two incidents that were brought to our attention later. They were investigated, they were handled by the building principal, but we did not fill out the Title VI paperwork. So moving forward, the corrective action that we need to take is we need to remove the word viable in our bullying policy. We need to revise the district's bullying and prevention plan to be consistent with the number of days. We have to provide a memorandum to all staff with these changes, and we have to provide a copy of the memorandum to send to all school-based administrators outlining the procedures for conducting investigations into racial harassment under Title VI, which we've already done with our attorneys over the summer. But Erin has already written another memo that she will send out to them. So those are the corrective actions ordered by the department. They're all done as of this time. We just have to submit them to the state.
And I should also note that those minor language changes to our bullying prevention plan, we will be approving later this evening under action item L. And is that all for correspondence?
That is.
Okay, so now up to our students for the student advisory report.
Okay, so today was the first day of the new semester for the high school students, and for the middle school, 7th and 8th, it was their first day of the third term. On January 17th, we had a representative of the Air National Guard, who spoke to some interested students about choosing to join the National Guard and the benefits it can provide for college students. The mock trial won their last 2 trials, and we're looking forward to the third trial tomorrow Wednesday against Minnetonka. Afterwards, they will learn if they qualify for the next round of competition. We'll be in Worcester.
High schoolers have their annual class meetings tomorrow where advisors can communicate upcoming events and touch base with students about class sponsored events, and seniors can discuss any senior specific activities. The junior class hosted a 7th and 8th grade dance to raise money, and it went well for those who participated. The girls basketball game tonight against McCain. Am I saying that right? McCann Tech Varsity is playing right now, and JV at 7.
Good luck to them.
Thank you. All right, well, it is now time for our educational presentations. We have Lieutenant Taggart with us this evening. Would you like to come to the table and join us?
Evening. I guess we'll start with a little overview of what we're doing. We started lockdowns, my first year, we got that rolling. And part of the lockdown is reunification. We've done some reunifications in the class. However, to have a viable reunification in an actual event, it would be better to have it offsite and away from the facility. We have a nice facility at Michigan State, and that was now a viable option for us to go to. So this is pretty much the agreement here, and it helps us in 2 ways. One, our resources for police and fire are going to be heavily involved here if anything does happen. We can rely on mutual aid, Western State, and the facilities there to take and be able to house all 3 districts in one spot. All 3 schools. And it's offsite, so parents, it's not going to be traffic coming here because roads are going to be shut for emergency. We're not going to have it, so all parents and things like that, and services can go over to Westfield. Less traffic for us, less transition back to work. It's also really is there for having parents if they need counseling, things like that. Pretty much what that's pretty much just.
So I have a dumb question,
It's not such a good number.
but
Go ahead.
how would the students get there?
Buses.
Our buses.
Yes.
And, given that one doesn't plan for something like this, that disasters happen
Right.
when you least expect it.
Mhm.
How do, and that, buses that service our district, are not right next door, right? How do we logistically make that happen as fast as possible?
Get them here as fast as possible. You can also, it depends, obviously, and no one likes to talk about this, it's going to cost money.
Okay,
There's no way that an incident like this is not gonna
Of
cost the
course.
district money.
of course.
It depends on what your things are. You can always requisition buses from, King Ray.
Okay, I see what you're
So
saying.
however you need, we can also ask
Right.
you if Granby or Suffield has extra buses, or
Right.
5 Star, or Lacrensky, whomever would be willing, some places would be willing to help out with bus drivers. Obviously, they'd be vetted, they'd be cleared by us before a student gets on. But yeah, there's busing is one thing. Nothing, don't forget, nothing's gonna happen immediately. Because one, we've got to we have to stop the threat, make sure there's no more threats. Release all the kids from each classroom systematically by any injuries or anything like that. It's not going to be fast. So by the time we're ready to move students,
Right.
we should have.
And
plenty
my
of
guess
buses
is
and-
there's a spot when they evacuate from the building, there's a spot that they go to an undisclosed location where they would then be picked up from the buses and brought to
Correct.
Westfield, correct?
And that's in the whole thing, in the directions that each go then for all that.
I have a question. If there's a lockdown, what about, I mean, presumably one school is involved, yeah? In any kind of
Hopefully.
incident.
Hopefully, yes.
So the other two schools would still be under lockdown and not able
They
to
would be,
evacuate?
no school that is not heavily involved would be locked down. So every other school should be in shelter in place unless the actual incident is right in that school itself.
The other two schools also evacuate to Westfield State?
No,
There's only one.
it would only be the one that would be, yes.
Is this a drill that you're referring to?
This is an actual offsite. This is a temporary emergency shelter. So what happens is if we have a shelter, lockdown and things like that, we have investigations going. Obviously, you're not gonna want all that stuff to happen on the same scene. There's no logistical way for that to trust. If we found that it was a hoax and things like that, we would just come down here or whatever, right from there. But it was an actual event of anything, then we'd have everything locked down for evidence sharing, gathering, all the stuff. And it's just better to have all of the congestion not be at the scene of the. So, and they have all the accommodations, bathrooms, food, all that stuff. They have it going on.
And when I was reading this earlier, am I remembering correctly that it's reciprocal?
Correct.
And that we would provide the same for Westfield State?
Correct.
And do we have, I mean, we don't have the same kind of space and facilities
No,
that
so
they
we-
do, but.
We give them what we can accommodate,
Mhm.
right? So, and they have different agreements with other school districts around here. So they have one with Huntington
Okay,
and Gateway.
so they don't need to
would-
depend solely on
No, so you would say, okay, well, Southwick can handle 300.
got you,
Gateway can
okay,
handle so many, Gateway will go there, Westfield can handle so many.
all right, that makes
Correct,
sense.
yeah, we're not gonna take all of Westfield.
Yeah, right. Okay,
But in the event, so we're full disclosure here, is we would probably call in our cafeteria staff if we can, so we get them food and things like that that we have on. And Westfield State would reimburse us same way. So we would reimburse Westfield.
right.
So this is just a temporary agreement, so it's good for 3 years, and after that, it's good for 2, and another 2 if they choose to. If you want to end it, you have to give them 60 days notice. Opening a shelter, you gotta tell them you're opening before you leave, they have to walk through it. There's usually, what they recommend is taking video of all the sites, so that way if any damage did occur, you can find out how it was before, if it was there before we went there, or it was caused by us, and be responsible for it. We need to make revisions for if anybody has a service animal.
And is this MOU similar to or based upon other ones that they have with other districts?
Correct, very similar to the one they have with Gateway.
And we've already said for legal.
Yeah, so everybody's done everything, it's all designated on what buildings you're gonna be using, for here. And you put in who your designated contact people are.
Mhm.
Very, it's easy, simple. Yeah, Gateway's been in it for, originally it was, there was no expiration on it. But
Okay,
their next one, they're coming up, they asked for an expiration, just in the event. Yeah,
okay.
I don't know.
Anybody have any questions?
None.
Very good, Lieutenant.
No, it's been a long time coming.
Yes.
We've had, before this even happened, I got with some local churches and stuff agreed to it. Westfield, Gage, and Wall, people agreed to help us out. Well, it's Comark, just for certain places to be able to go in.
Right,
But to have this actual facility and it's a home run.
right.
It's everything that we would, all in one spot, and it would be able to be handled by our partners in law enforcement, and other places. So we can focus on. our-
Right, yes,
It's,
yes.
it's
that
a,
makes
it's
sense.
a great,
Mhm.
it's a great opportunity.
Mhm. Hopefully, we never have to use it.
No, but you know what,
We have it.
if we have a plan, we have a plan,
Right,
and at least we're not gonna be sitting here and what are we doing, you know?
Right.
That's all I have for that, my 2 cents is, I think it would be remiss if we passed up.
And it doesn't require a vote on our part, does it?
Yes,
It
I
does.
believe it does, because I have to
Okay.
sign it tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Because
Alright.
it's, you guys are responsible for the school buildings.
Oh, yep, no, it's early on in our long list of action items today.
Everything's.
I'm going to sign it, but you need
Right.
to approve it.
Okay.
Very good.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks, Mike.
We'll get you next meeting.
Yep,
I'll see you Thursday morning.
sounds good.
Ms. Carrier. Yes, you're up next.
So we are proposing a new position for our school nutrition department. Currently, we have a director of food services. And we have 3 managers who manage each of the kitchens. We don't have anyone in between. And so the director understands our state reporting, our meal planning. Has all the relationships with our vendors, computer system, that point of sale, administers that, just has a certain level. The managers are managing, each individual site kitchen, and we don't have anyone in between. So we do have a clerical position, that is stepped down from the managers, who works directly with the director of school nutrition, but doesn't really have the knowledge of the state reporting of the USDA requirements for building foods and menus, et cetera. So we were looking at kind of where we were compliance wise and realizing that we need a person in between the manager level and that food service director to really be learning a lot of those pieces so that we have some redundancy. Also, really, the position of our food service director, there's a lot of pieces, and we are finding that it just wasn't done with that level of attention to detail that we'd want. We're just, even looking at our menus, I know many parents are frustrated that our menus on like that rotating cycle as opposed to a month by month. That was done for convenience, and we want to go back to the more month to month replanning, looking at things that are fresher and locally sourced and available, as opposed to saying, all right, it's Tuesday and it's the 3rd Tuesday, and on the 3rd Tuesday we have tacos. Well, maybe the 3rd Tuesday is Valentine's Day and we don't want to have tacos. We want to have that more responsive. So we are looking to create a school nutrition administration specialist that bridges the gap between our managers, takes that clerical role, many of the pieces that they were doing, but adds to it some of the responsibilities, and not responsibilities, but maybe the understanding that a manager, that a food service director would have. Being able to be a part of meal planning, being able to understand our compliance with USDA requirements, with state reporting, with production sheets, with the PDE, the certifications, permitting, all of those pieces. The position would be paid for out of the food service budget, so it is not a part of our LEA budget.
And the existing clerical position would
Would
be
not be filled.
eliminated.
Would not, it would not be filled. It
Okay,
wouldn't be eliminated, it would
Okay.
remain, but it would not be filled.
okay. And what is the reason for it remaining, but
In
not
the,
being?
it's in the clerical union
Okay,
right now. Right, so
Okay.
this position is a contract outside of any of the unions.
okay.
Okay,
So
this is a, yeah, this is a service contract,
now,
as is the food service director position.
right. Now, this was a new job description with new responsibilities that you had to create, and I know that the food service director is also a new contract.
Yes.
Were any of the responsibilities in this contract removed from the food service director's contract?
No, the responsibilities in here are a lot of assisting in the work that the food service
Okay.
director would be doing.
Okay, so it wasn't like taking jobs and separating responsibilities, just more helping,
And
one
overlapping.
helping
Yeah.
and, okay.
Mhm. So we have 2 audits coming up. And so getting ready for those audits is gonna be a
A big
significant
part of this.
significant piece.
Significant.
Does anybody have a question?
No.
Our new food service director did come in today and observed all of our kitchen serving, and she is really excited to start next week on Monday. So that's exciting to have.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
So would the menus be changing month to month?
Yes, the goal would be that we would have that for what more traditional menu.
Yeah.
Yeah, where you get it, you get it a couple days before the month starts and you can look and see what's gonna be served and hopefully it will be more responsive to the seasons. And it won't be quite as difficult to read. There's been some complaints about the rotating, not only does the menu rotate, but the vegetables are on another rotation and there's family service that could be this, or
I was
this.
gonna say, yeah, sometimes you have like 4 different choices of the day and some kid doesn't like all of them.
Yeah,
Right.
and you don't, and sometimes you don't know which one is actually gonna
Right.
make it onto the menu on that day, so you could show up not really knowing. And when we have food shortages, then we're not responsive to that right now. Because that menu was made in August and now we're finding that we no longer can get the pulled pork that we were supposed to have. And so instead of pulled pork, it's hamburgers. But we had no idea that pulled pork was gonna be pulled. So-
No pun intended.
And I love what you said about using more, locally sourced, and if
And
that
fresh
can
stuff.
be, yes, and if we can, and I know that it's not easy with regard to like kind of working the finances of it, but if the new food service director can do everything in her powers to grow that, to work with, I mean, we're an agricultural community, to work with our local farmers.
Yep.
I would just be 100% supportive of that, so that would be wonderful. Superintendent Williams?
Okay, so I'm just presenting the 25-26 school calendar. We did receive some feedback from the teachers that they did want to go back to the 3 days at the beginning of the year before they started. So we're going to go back for the 25th, 26th, and 27th would be teachers. Students would start on the 28th. And instead of going down like you're used to, it's going to go across, which I'm still training myself to do. If you see a slash through a date, that means it's going to be a half day. And the only other things to look at is on November 10th. Students will have a 4-day weekend, but we're gonna use that 10th as a professional development day. Because that would mean that the students would come in on Monday, have Tuesday off, and then come back on Wednesday. Now our teachers will come on Monday and the students will have a nice Monday and Tuesday.
Brilliant. And that 11th is
Veterans
Veterans Day,
Day.
right?
Mhm.
Brilliant, love it.
Yep, and so that's what we tried to plan, as many of our half days, near long weekends, so that again, it wasn't a disruption to like a full school. And, if you look at this, the 12th would be our last day of school.
Now, you said that the teachers wanted to go back to professional development, 3 days of PD.
At the
right?
beginning of the year,
And where,
yes.
what did they do this year?
We did
There's
January
2
2nd and
after-
3rd.
After Christmas vacation.
Okay. Okay, so they had done fewer in the beginning and then extra during, okay.
Mhm.
And so does that mean that this affects,
Christmas break?
yeah,
No, winter break means that students will come on the 22nd and then the 23rd will be a half day.
okay,
We were gonna do 2 days of PD then,
yeah,
and the kids would have had 2 full weeks off, but, we're gonna do the 1.5 days then.
in favor of the extra days in the beginning.
Right, and that way we got to get the 10th in as well. For the students to have the long weekend and it's not a disruption to their learning.
What day does the school year end?
Well, but that doesn't matter to you, you need to look at graduation. It's the 6th.
my friend.
Beginning of
Graduation is the
Oh
6th.
my God, don't make me start to cry now.
I didn't realize how old I was until now.
Last day of school and
Are
stuff.
you just realizing that we're graduating?
June 6th will
June
be
6th.
graduation day.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Well, all of us.
You
So
can do
that's the calendar.
You have all of them.
We tried to,
6/26.
we worked long and hard on it, as you can see, we. Picked out conference days, we picked out half days, collab days, and that's what we came up with. Any questions?
Wait, we have a half day on Halloween.
What?
Yes, the PD day,
How
Collab
awesome
day.
is that?
collab day.
We were pretty proud.
Wow, that's a good way, right?
For the kids, not the teachers. The teachers will be here all
Oh,
day.
never
The
mind.
students will have a half day on Halloween.
That's a good one.
And it's a Friday this
Yeah.
year, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Friday half day.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's see what's next. All right, so we're up to reports, Superintendent Willard.
All I have is that our new Director of Finance and Operations, Nick Bernier, will be starting on Monday, February 3rd. He's already responding to emails and we've been in communication about budgets and cannot wait to get him on board. And as Aaron said, Kathleen is starting next Monday as well. And she's, been here too to get herself up and running. I read to you the PRS. If you want a copy of it, anybody, I can email it to you. It's 17 pages. But I gave you that.
So up to policies. We have multiple first readings in your packets for multiple different policies. And many of them we are waiving, in fact, maybe all of them, we are waiving the second and third readings and then going on to vote on approving those policies later on. So the reason that we're doing that is because these policies are time sensitive. With regard to the graduation requirements, that change needs to be put into place as a result of the changes in MCAS. MCAS are not going away, but because MCAS are no longer a graduation requirement, it affects what we call our competency determination. And these changes need to go into place because students are now starting to plan their schedules for the next year. And the other ones were things that Superintendent Willard mentioned previously related to our bullying prevention policy, and then some recent changes in legislation with regard to Title IX. So again, all time sensitive, which is why we are waiving second and third readings and moving to approve those. But if anybody has any questions or concerns, now would be the time to discuss that. I know, huh? The only thing that I said to Aaron with regard to the graduation requirements is this is going to affect mostly our current freshmen and sophomores. Because most of our juniors and seniors have already reached that competency determination with regard to, because they've already taken the grade 10 MCAS. But my biggest concern is for this information to go to our guidance counselors, who are then responsible for communicating it to our students. Because basically what it means is there are certain courses now, since they don't have to pass the MCAS, they have to pass certain courses. So it's really important that our students know, hey, look, these are the classes you absolutely have to pass in order to get a diploma. And I think that that's a significant change for some students. And so just important to me that the information gets well.
So for like juniors and stuff, this isn't gonna affect us for
As-
planning next year.
Nope.
Okay.
No, as long as, you passed your grade 10 MCAS, juniors are all set.
If you do.
There
So
are,
I'm curious.
there are alternatives in place, so,
That's the
That's what we need this for.
yeah. So. And then, the other one is that we just have a policy that we are rescinding. Again, due to, recent legal changes in Title IX, correct?
Yeah. Do you want me to explain it?
Yeah, go ahead, you want to go ahead? and do that
So
one?
Title IX was changed under the Biden administration in 2022. Those went into effect this past summer. So in August, a number of our policies were either changed to fit that, or we added some policies so that you had a list that you did in August at the retreat. Right. That was then shut down in court on the 9th of January. And so all of those changes have to be taken back because they were all in response to a piece of legislation which the courts found to be, I don't want to say unconstitutional because I don't know legal scholar, but all of those changes, the court said, were not acceptable. So we need to go back to the previous policy. So what we're doing is we're taking the mask policies to replace them, or rescinding the one which does not have a counterpart in mask because it was solely based on the changes in 2022.
And the truth of the matter is, it's not huge changes, they're just small.
Yeah,
Sort
It's more procedural.
it's a lot of procedural changes, how we do things, yeah. Timelines, guidance around timelines, what you have to do, steps you have to take and what order those steps are, and notification around how long people have to be notified of steps. Basically.
All right, moving on to action items.
Move to approve the consent agenda items as listed above, recommended.
Okay.
We didn't take your.
Yes, all in favor? Yes. Raise your hand. Let the record show, Aaron. The motion passes, in favor, right?
Yeah.
4-0. Yes, got it, okay. 4-0-0.
4-0-0.
Got
Got
it, thank
I do
you.
this.
All right, I got this. Now I'm gonna do it a lot more times.
All right, here we go. Move to approve the Westfield State University STGRSD Temporary Emergency Shelter Memorandum of Agreement, recommended.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? All right, Aaron, let the record show the motion passes, 4 in favor, 0-0.
Move to approve the School Nutrition Administration Specialist job description, recommended.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aaron, let the record show that the motion passes 4-0-0.
Move to approve the 25-26 STGRSD school calendar, recommended.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? All right, Aaron, let the record show the motion passes in favor 4-0-0.
Move to waive the second and third reading of IKF graduation requirements, recommended.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aaron, let the record show the motion passes in favor 4-0-0.
Move to waive the second and third reading of JICFB bullying prevention, recommended.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aaron, let the record show the motion passes in favor 4-0-0.
Move to waive the second and third reading of AC non-discrimination, including harassment and retaliation, recommended.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, raise your hand. Aaron, let the record show the motion passes in favor 4-0-0.
Move to waive the second and third reading of ACR-R non-discrimination, including harassment and retaliation, recommended.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aaron, let the record show the motion passes in favor 4-0-0.
Move to waive the second and third reading of ACA non-discrimination on the basis of sex, recommended.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aaron, let the record show.
We're gonna alternate.
We got it now. We got a system. Motion passes in favor 4-0-0.
Move to waive the second and third reading of ACAB sexual harassment, recommended.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aaron, let the record show the motion passes in favor 4-0-0.
Move to approve policy IKF graduation requirements, recommended.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aaron, let the record show the motion passes in favor 4-0-0.
Move to approve policy JICFB bullying prevention, recommended.
Second.
So moved. All right, all in favor? Aaron, let the record show the motion passes in favor 4-0-0.
Move to approve policy AC, non-discrimination, including harassment and retaliation recommended.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aaron, let the record show the motion passes in favor 400.
Move to approve policy AC-R, non-discrimination, including harassment and retaliation recommended.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aaron, let the record show the motion passes in favor 400.
Move to approve policy ACA, non-discrimination on the basis of sex recommended.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aaron, let the motion let the record show the motion passes in favor 400.
Move to rescind policy ACA-R, non-discrimination on the basis of sex under Title IX, including sex-based harassment recommended.
So moved.
Second.
We got it.
All in favor? Aaron, let the record show the motion passes in favor 400.
Move to approve policy ACAB, sexual harassment recommended.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aaron, let the record show the motion passes in favor 400. That might have been the most we've ever done all at once.
I feel like it's, yes.
All right, it is time for subcommittees and liaisons. So negotiations, where are we for negotiations?
I think we have a meeting Wednesday.
And that is with the teachers union, correct? Okay. Finance?
We had a brief meeting just before. And we finalized, the only thing under discussion was nutrition.
And our LPVEC representatives are not here. Policy, we had a brief meeting earlier today, went over all of the policies that we just approved. Made some slight changes to the graduation one, otherwise decided to go with the mass versions, all just recently approved this past month. And you guys all reaped the benefits. So thank you very much, Aaron, to all your hard work that went into that. Buildings and grounds, any updates?
No.
ILT, we have one next week. Does that sound right? Is it next week? So at our last ILT meeting, one of the things that we worked on was this graduation policy. Wellness.
No, I see, got an email.
No.
I was gonna say, I received an email not so long ago from Ashley.
Yeah,
Wasn't
that,
sure
it
what
was
that was all
moved.
about.
It was
Oh, it was
moved. It was
Okay.
supposed to be in January and it was moved because we wanted the new nutrition person to be on.
Okay.
So wellness is coming on.
Gotcha. I believe it's during the workday though, correct?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, they're always trying.
Yeah. Okay. No updates for special education or technology. Any other liaisons that have anything to update us on?
Okay.
Not yet.
Oh.
They were all at the Mass Municipal Convention this past weekend. I think now we're gonna get the band back.
Nice.
All right. Well, it is now time for our public comment. I don't know that I necessarily see public that is wishing to make comment. So that brings us to committee discussion. Does anybody have anything for old business? New business? I believe that means the meeting is adjourned at 6:44 PM.
That was a lot of policies.
Yes, it was.